Welcome to Own It, the podcast where we talk to real estate thought leaders about embracing your strengths, taking your career to new heights, and owning your future.
I'm Hillary Saunders, co-founder, chief broker officer at Side, joined today by my newly minted broker in New York, Spencer Curl. Congratulations. I just want to send you a congratulatory, hug through the Zoom.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Long, hard battle. But I want to give a shout out to Sylvia at the Department of State. If you're listening, Sylvia, thank you so much for greasing the wheels.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, let's dive into our amazing episode that we have today. All things Jacksonville, all things amazing. These two powerhouse women came together, have created Dogwood Realty, and it is a powerhouse dynamic. There's so much to learn about building a business, growth pains, diving into your prior experience and how to meld that with the current state of everything Jacksonville. So welcome to Own It, Meshell Perry and Elaine Samaan. You women are to look up to. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us today.
Oh man. And I got the privilege to meet you guys when I was out in Florida last year. So thanks for making the time. So this is interesting because I did a little bit of digging on Jacksonville. Granted, I'm not an expert, but it is the largest city by square mileage.
We are giant. I could leave my house and keep driving north for about an hour and a half and still be in Jacksonville.
I have to say, as a Los Angeles resident, I'm very jealous of that. Like whenever I hear like there are suns in the universe that are larger than our sun, I kind of get defensive. So I can't believe Jacksonville is that much. That's huge.
No, but seriously, how do you function with buyers? Do you show them all properties on one day, or how does that work?
We kind of break the city up into different areas. So if we're looking south of the city, we'll stay right there. Usually a buyer knows about where they want to be. So if they're looking south of the city, they're not requesting to see something north of the city. But if they are, that would certainly be another day because it could take you 45 minutes, in travel time.
And the St. Johns River cuts right through Jacksonville. It actually runs north. Cool fact. So a lot of people either want to be on one side of the river or the other. We've got a lot of military bases in town. So if people want to be, close to work, we can kind of narrow it down and get them into the right area as well.
With the city being so large, and I know it's been built up fairly recently, I guess, right? Like this huge expansion recently. Mm-hmm. How different are the neighborhoods throughout town, or what determines that?
Very different. Oh my gosh. We've got Riverside and Avondale, which are much older homes, built in the 40s and 50s, very eclectic. We've got a lot of new growth south of the city. So great schools south of the city and west and St. Johns County and Clay County. Lot of land that's been developed, so a lot of new construction. The beach is super eclectic. You could see a 1950s home that's 1,100 square feet next to a mansion. They bought the land, torn it down, and built something brand new.
The cool thing about our beach is you could live on the beach for $1 million here, easy.
Yeah, you can do that with a tent, I think, in one night in Los Angeles. I think that's what the permit fee is now. So you guys are both from Jacksonville, though, originally, right? Or you went to school there?
Yeah, I was born in Jacksonville, and then my dad was Navy, so we moved all around the U.S. and the world, and before I circled back and came back to Jacksonville.
And I was born here, and I'm 5th generation from Jacksonville, so my daughter's 6th. My granddaughters are 7th generation from Jacksonville. I just joined the Historical Society because I want to know more. So.
That's fabulous. That's something, total side note for a whole nother show, but something that has always fascinated me is people that say, oh yeah, I have umpteen generations from here, wherever here is. I'm first born in the US for my family, so it's very interesting. But I digress. Dogwood Realty. I love the branding. I love the name. And you guys have seen such exponential growth over the last year and a half. What led you to join forces? Because you haven't always worked together, right? But you've created this company and just explode. So take us through that experience.
Yeah, so Meshell and I actually, when we were both starting our career, we worked together on a team. She became the lead listing agent. I became the lead buyer's agent. The team ended up not working out, but Meshell and I went our separate ways. We were at the same brokerage. We were both every month competing for who would be the top agent in our brokerage. It would flip back and forth every month. And 2 years ago, I guess almost 3 years ago, we talked with Side, and I had originally started the conversation because I knew I needed to start a team, and had been doing some research and knew I needed some support. And after I talked to Side, I was like, I definitely want to do this, but I don't want to do it alone. So I reached out to Meshell and said, hey, what do you think about doing this thing with me? And now here we are. Dogwood just celebrated 2 years in February.
And you did 99 transactions last year. Is that right?
We tried so hard to get that one extra, and it just didn't happen. So
that's a good, easy goal to smash this year then. I mean, 99 problems or 99 transactions.
We were going to make a Facebook post about that, but then we were like, oh, maybe we don't want to call, houses problems.
But I'm just curious, how did you handle 99 transactions?
That is a good question. So one of our growing pains has definitely been process and procedures, and making sure that we have everything in place. We have a killer closing director, and she has just really helped us stay on track and create our process. We hired a listing manager last year to help us start sorting out all of those things and making sure everything is running like a well-oiled machine. That is definitely something that has been taking shape over the last 2 years. We have a lot of growing.
Yeah, but there's the emotional component of dealing with the clients as well, because they're flipping out because the carpet got stained or something, or whatever it is. I mean, so do you guys separate that, or you guys have a good cop, bad cop thing? I'm just curious how you do it.
So we also have this year we just added, we're up to 12 agents. So we did have some of our agents doing some of the transactions last year as well, but it was heavy on Meshell and I, as we're getting things off the ground last year. So I think a lot of it is just, Meshell's favorite quote about the elephant.
Oh yeah. How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
That's kind of been our motto over the year. It's like, you have a problem, come up with a transaction. All right. Like, let's just take it. What's the solution? How are we going to get there? What's the best and most efficient way to knock this out and get it so that everybody's happy on both ends?
Elaine, you're a new mom. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Meshell, you have experience with children and raising them, and now you have 2 beautiful grandbabies of your own. So how did you learn to juggle all of the new, responsibilities of being a mom and all those transactions? Did you lean on Meshell? Did you, just put your head in the sand and say, I don't know what to do? How did you handle that?
Yeah, honestly, I thought last year was going to be my worst year ever because my baby was born May 4th, and that's the start of the year, and that's right in the middle of the busy season. And I was like, it's just going to be a tank of a year, and I just got to accept that. And our whole team pulled together. Meshell was there for me. Our closing director was there for me. Our listing manager that we hire. We have an office manager now. We've got a social media team. I mean, all of these people just came together and helped and supported me. And I mean, we had every excuse to not be successful. Meshell's father has also been super sick, so she's been dealing with that for the last year as well. So, really every excuse that could have been thrown at us was there for us to not succeed last year.
I will say that she didn't take maternity leave either. I think she was calling people when she was like on the delivery table, literally negotiating an offer.
You can tell people about that, and I'll tell you why, because I did the exact same thing with my 10-year-old. I was closing a deal and it had to get done. So I think the takeaway is, as a business owner, as a top producer, we'll get to that line in just a second, you just do what you have to do to get it done.
Yeah,
there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. You just get it done.
Right.
So props.
What I think is really interesting, and I want to talk about your growth as a team and what you started with and where you are now, because you said, well, now we have a great social media director, we have a great transaction coordinator, or whatever the term that you used, and a closing director and all that. So how did you decide what you needed to build first? Was there a plan that you followed, or how did you decide that?
Well, we have a great coach with Workman. thanks to you guys. We really lean on Mike for every decision that we're making, because we've put a lot of things in place that now we're trying to figure out, okay, we need to take a step back. Maybe we need to unwind this and rethink it. So everything that we're doing, we're just kind of running it past our trusted coach.
And I think as we see holes pop up, as much as we don't want to be reactive, unfortunately, that's just kind of how we've had to be, because we don't know what we don't know. And while we're trying to build things and we know the things that we want and where we want to go, some of it is just like, hey, you know what? You have too many listings and you guys can't be running out and doing signs and lock boxes and, you know, building the MLS shell, doing all these things. Like, just hire somebody, do that work, do the money-making activities, and hire people to help you do the things that you don't need to be spending your time on.
It is really hard though, when we've kind of done our own thing and now we're coming together and trying to think, okay, this is $20 an hour work. Let's hire this out and let's do what we're good at. And so every single thing I do, I try to think, is this money-making activity? You know, and really rethink, you know, how we're doing things.
Did it happen much faster than you thought it was going to happen? Like, were you kind of surprised at the pace?
Yeah.
We're both tired. I know that.
Yeah, I think I have been surprised how much growth we've had. And it's exciting too, but at the same time, you know, like it's scary to interview agents and bring them onto our team, because we're inviting them into our family. We're expecting things of them. We're managing them. You know, there's just so many moving pieces and it's scary. And to be at 12 agents right now, and we're only 2 years old, it's, And
we're still trying to learn, you know, the interview process, and
we make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So
this is a good takeaway for a lot of different people, because hiring or bringing on a new team member takes very different approaches. Some people only do DISC profile and some people only do by gut reaction. How do you approach it, and what has worked and what hasn't worked?
I think we have led by gut reaction.
Yeah.
I think we can both get a quick sense of who a person is. And I think we've gone with that. I do want to study the DISC profile more in depth, because that's going to help just, you know, with transacting as well. But we've made a couple mistakes, but we're plugging away, and we're trying to develop and train and, you know, bring people along. So,
and I think, you know, the main things we look for are people who are coachable and who are hungry. Because we feel like if you have those two qualities, you're going to be a good fit for us, because we know we're going to give you as much time as we possibly can to get you to be the best that you can be. And if you're hungry for that business and you're willing to take all of that in, then we know that you'll be a good fit for us.
We also want somebody that's smart and humble.
And now, have you had to let people go as you're putting your team together? Were there some bad fits?
I think on the administration side, especially.
Yeah.
Trying to find those fits.
Yep. So definitely on the administration, not really agents.
A couple of agents have left just because I think we have high expectations and what we expect. And when they couldn't meet it and we would maybe call them out on it or talk to them about it, it just felt like it wasn't a good fit. And it was a mutual, you know, I think I'm going to move on, and that's okay.
I think, Elaine, you have an interesting background that I want to dive into a little bit. We had Melanie Barker on recently, who has a Navy background, and I know your dad was Navy and you moved around a bit while you were a child. Did that experience give you a special insight or understanding to help clients who are moving to Jacksonville? Because I do understand that Jacksonville is a big Navy or military town.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much every 2 years of my life, we moved somewhere else. I think I counted one time. I'm 36 now, and I think I've lived in 19 different places. So I've moved quite a bit, and that has definitely helped me. You know, I watched my parents, to them, buying houses was very important as we moved around. And I saw that be successful for them as they retired and they sold off the properties that they had purchased. And I also saw them buy homes completely sight unseen and rely on their agents to help them. Even when they bought their retirement home, their last station was in Italy, and they didn't even see the house, their retirement home where they were going to live for the rest of their, time. Like they bought that here in Jacksonville completely sight unseen. So I think I've always realized the importance of realtors in that process. And so being able to be that for military families, and honestly, even just people who are relocating, we have so many businesses here outside of just the military too, of people coming here and you don't know the area and you're relying on your realtor, to tell, here's what I like in a home and here's what's important to me in a community, what would be a good fit. So it's exciting, but it's also, just having to be there for them and be their eyes and ears. I do a lot of videos and community videos of, here's the neighborhood. I'm just going to drive the streets for 10 minutes just so you can see what's around and what shops are here, just so you can get a feel of what the houses, the neighborhood looks like. So I think that's given me a good perspective. And then also being a kid, moving around school to school and having an education and background too. And I can definitely relate to all the kids coming here and helping them kind of translate into the school system too.
That's a huge responsibility, to really be sincere about it. And you hear horror stories. Obviously, you care about people that are coming in. So, Elaine, are you more of a buyer's agent? Meshell, do you handle more listings, or is that?
I always say we're the yin to each other's yang. We're like the perfect opposites of each other in our strengths. So I have always loved buyers, and Meshell is a killer at listings. So that's been a really strong point for us. But even in terms of our business, she's strong in marketing and accounting numbers, and I love process procedures. And so it's just been a really good mix.
That's a story we hear a lot. And so sometimes, a lot of times with partnerships, it's two listing agents, right? I've never heard of two buyer's agents getting together. Two listing agents, definitely. But I like the fact that you both complement each other's businesses, and you also recognize that you have your strengths in other things as well, which I think Hillary and I have spoken to a lot of people. And one person is the process and procedure. The other person is the one that goes out and greets the clients. And what a great mix.
I think that's a good point to hit on for people who are considering joining forces. My suggestion is always to make sure that you have a discussion up front as far as, in the event this doesn't work out, let's still be friends, or what does that separation look like? What advice would you have to any type of realtors who are looking to come together to create a company like you have?
I think it just happened that we were the yin to each other's yang, but I would say look for that, because that really helps. Because when I'm thinking of something one way, she sees it in a different aspect, and then we can kind of talk about it and then, come up with a game plan. We've been really good at that. So I would say look for your counterpart for sure. And I'm so happy and I'm so blessed that we stumbled on that. We didn't plan that. It just happened.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I also think it helps that we were never like best friends, right? Like we've always worked together so well, but it's not like, I don't know. We've just always had such a great working relationship. And we love to hang out and go do things, but I don't know. I think it's good because it gives us that. It's like we never get too into the emotions. Like we can keep things very like business.
That's a good takeaway for sure. Continuing on the military discussion, because it is I think it can be a very emotional time for people who are relocating. And you learned a very valuable lesson with your parents who purchased property and built I'm assuming, a decent nest egg, a decent wealth portfolio with real estate. How are you also educating other real estate families with the opportunity to buy their personal residence, turn it into an investment property and the like? Because that's a huge giveaway. I mean, a massive benefit to your clients to learn from you.
Yes. And the cool thing about Jacksonville is that it is the prime opportunity for investment. So anytime we have buyers coming in looking to come to the area, if they're deciding between renting and purchasing, we always try to start with a loan officer and just say, like, let's just see. Because I think when you look at the fees that you need to be able to rent, I mean, you're putting down 2 months of security deposit, plus, you're paying a month up front, and then the monthly fees, I mean, you might as well just buy because there's so many incentives right now to buy.
People don't like the interest rates. Well, renting is 100% interest. So we use that too. And, if you purchase, you have an opportunity to build some equity.
I love that renting is 100% interest. I've never heard that before, and that is very true. So Jacksonville, a lot of opportunity in Jacksonville, and you guys work with a lot of investors, and I think you're involved in something called YJAX, or that's your take on things?
That was our take on things. We put together a PowerPoint presentation and just talks about all the new roadways, all the new systems, to the area, our sports teams, just all the new growth.
So there's so much coming. So basically, we right now have like 295, which is a circle around Jacksonville, and they're starting to kind of make an outer loop. And as that's growing, then that's going to just bring so much more growth to the different areas. And so like I told you before, we've got the river running straight through Jacksonville. Well, there's really only 2 points to cross the river right now, and they're working on building out a third. And so when that third one opens, we're just anticipating a ton of growth in that area. It's right around all the top schools. We cover 4 different counties. We really focus on 3, but we've got 4 in our area. So we're huge. And the school systems here, we have one of the top ones in the state of Florida. We've got beautiful beaches. We've got the rivers. So you can, go that way. We're building out. The downtown is growing and developing. Our whole airport is getting an expansion. They're building, I don't know if you guys have been to Atlanta. They've got those amazing greenways. The same guy who designed that is working on a whole plan for Jacksonville that they're building out of greenways. It's really just so much coming to our area that's really exciting and really going to help us grow. And again, another great place for investors.
Are you actively seeking out investors? And if so, are they institutional investors? Or are you trying to find the mom and pop? Are you doing both?
Go ahead with that one.
A little bit of both, I think. So we've been really involved with ARIA and also SARE. And so both of those groups are just really trying to help Asian families buy and invest. A lot of them are based in California, and prices are just so high. So most of the investors we've talked to can't afford to buy in that area and are looking for other places because they still want to purchase property. And so
their money goes very far here.
Yes.
I mean, you could buy one thing in California or 3 things here. So it makes total sense. So we put together
a tip for everyone listening. If you are looking to invest yourself, reach out to Dogwood because they can help you spend your money very wisely.
Yes, I'm calling you after the podcast. So
we can put together case studies and just tell you, your cap rate, what you can expect in rental income.
And also, I think Jacksonville's great for the long-term investment. So if you're looking for something to hold on to, I personally have bought several properties, and in 10 years they've more than doubled in equity. So
we're not real big on short term. More midterm to long term. Yeah. So buy and hold makes a lot of sense.
Like a 10-year horizon you're looking at, 7-year horizon, something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I have a question for you. Since you have done all this growth and are working on really shining a spotlight on Jacksonville, which is, I think, amazing, and really educating the public on this opportunity for everyone, you made a cover of the Real Producers magazine, I heard, in February. And a beautiful cover at that, I will say. Look at that, so pretty.
Thank you.
And I want to hear about this cover because it is not the traditional what people think of when they see a real estate cover with people with their arms crossed and not very friendly. But this is a beautiful shot of you guys in front of a mural that's bright blue and yellow and orange. What is that mural?
So when we got the call that they wanted to feature us on the magazine cover, we started thinking, oh gosh, what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? What do we want to look like? I feel like we're super playful. We try to not take things too seriously. So that's just kind of why we chose this kind of fun pose. We actually rented bikes, electric bikes, and did a tour. It's a mural tour in Jacksonville. And we went to several different murals. Just took our pictures there. The photographer got on her bike and we had a blast.
Yeah.
We had
another cool thing about Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
So now we've got all of these awesome murals popping up, which, 5 years ago you would not have seen. And this small local company just started the e-bikes. They had artists completely design all of the e-bikes. So each e-bike is different and cool and funky. And, they give you a map. Sometimes they do a tour. This one, we just took the bikes and off we went to explore the city.
we were riding bikes in dresses and heels and with nachos.
We stopped and got nachos on the way.
We got hungry, so we stopped and got some nachos and a drink and just crashed.
You ladies have so much fun. Does this exude in the culture of Dogwood Realty too? Because your team must be super fun to hang out with.
Yes. We try to have fun.
Yeah.
We try to be business when we have to be and fun the rest of the time.
When it comes to the team, right? So the sense I'm getting, there's now a burgeoning art scene. I'm guessing there's probably a theater scene coming up or something, maybe a music scene, bar scene. Do the people on your team, do they, I don't want to say specialize, like they purposely do it, but it's like one person, the beer garden person, and this is the person that likes theater, and this is and I'm just curious how you kind of have a cultural mix that way.
I think we just have a good culture. I don't know that we necessarily have it kind of separated that way. We did just get an app, which we're super excited about. And in the app, we put in all of our favorite places to go and our recommendations around town. So we've tried to make the app not just a place for your home searching, but also a place you can go to and, see some of our favorite things to do around town so that we can share some of our favorites with our customers too.
Another thing we've talked about is just trying to have people have different specialties, like in different areas, like maybe Elaine St. John's, because that's where she lives, maybe me, Mandarin, maybe another person out at the beach. So kind of have our little special areas that we know everything about. So we have talked about that.
Yeah, I love this app idea because you guys are doing relocation. People are coming in. You have to set everything up for them. They're coming in. They don't know where to get a haircut. They don't know where a market is and all that. So I think that app is a pretty cool idea.
We love our app and our customers love it too. It has been one of the highlights that we got in the last couple months.
We have lenders on there so you can get on and apply for a mortgage. We've got our favorite restaurants on there. We have our trusted vendors on there. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a one-stop shop, for all things.
I need to go on that later.
Yes, Dogwood Realty in the App Store.
There we go. Spencer and I are going to be chatting later. Let's go look at property.
We keep talking about. We haven't done it. We have to. You know what? That's going to be a podcast episode. We have to talk about that. Do you guys do property management as well, or do you provide people with property managers when you have investors coming in?
No, we do not.
We started talking about opening it because it is a huge need, but we partner with a couple different property management companies around town, so we can offer.
I feel like that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Oh.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, I used to do it. I ran two property management companies, and that's why my hair looks the way that it does. So there you go. You don't see some property management.
Maybe it's because we talked about it.
One thing I learned a long time ago is kind of pick one thing and get really good at it. I can be mediocre at 3 or 4 things, or I can be really, really good at 1 or 2 things. So that's just kind of been my philosophy, and that's why I chose listings. And I've gotten good at that. Elaine is amazing with buyers. I don't really care to work with buyers. I feel like they run you ragged, but I love them. But I do prefer the listing.
That's how I feel about sellers. They run me ragged.
That goes along with what you said earlier, spot on, which is look at what the cost is to do a task and decide if you should be doing it or you should outsource it. Yes, you may know how to do it, but is it really worth the time and effort for you to work on it, or should you bring in somebody else? So I think that's such a big takeaway. And I feel like a lot of people have a hang up that they don't want to give away a task because they feel like either they could do it better themselves or they're giving away their job.
She's looking at me because I have a really hard time with that. She's really good at delegating. I'm like, nope, I got it. I'll do it.
What's a tough thing? What was one of the toughest things for you to give up?
Oh gosh.
Transaction coordinating.
Yeah, I would say transaction coordinating because again, I was on my own for so long that I would do it from A to Z. And now we have a transaction coordinator that, I just pass the baton. But at any point I can text her and say, where are we on this? And she will give me a quick answer. So that has, the anxiety level has gone down. Once I get to know somebody and trust their process and their procedure, then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have given away transaction coordinating even before starting a team. I'd be like, go, you take it. That's like, what a headache. What a headache.
Yes.
It takes a lot. And God bless all those transaction coordinators out there, because they do run the world if they are good.
Yes.
Otherwise.
We have great
Yeah.
Good. Well, I know you are all also very good at social media. Aside from the Dogwood app, where can everybody follow you and the magical things that are happening in Jacksonville?
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn.
Is it all under Dogwood Realty?
Yep.
Dogwood Realty FL.
We hired a social media company, and they blast out, like, for example, the magazine cover. Great reviews. We just had a new agent get a stellar review. I'm kind of jealous because I've never gotten one that good. And we're gonna pump that out and give him a shout out on social media. But yeah, they've been really good for us. Just getting out new listings and open houses and just anything that's going on, in our Dogwood world.
You ladies are wonderful, and Jacksonville is lucky to have you as proponents for that wonderful place. And I really will actually, after we wrap up, I'm going online to look, because now I'm so intrigued at what actually is going on over there. One last question before we wrap. I really would like to know, aside from family, because it's very important and you all are very involved in family, where do you want Dogwood Realty to be in the next 12 months, since you've seen such big growth this last year?
I personally would really love to see that we have a little bit more of our process and procedures in place, and that we've really trained up the agents that we have. I think we've got some stellar agents, but there's definitely some training that's lacking. And that's part of the reason we started Dogwood, was to just kind of shape the real estate industry here in Jacksonville and try to elevate it. So I would love to see, just to raise the bar for the agents that we have. And hopefully our goal for this year is to do 200 transactions. So I would love to see us hit that.
Yeah, that's my goal. I would like for all of our hard costs to be covered, with our transactions. And that's my goal for this year. So it doesn't matter if it's one transaction or 200.
I'm going to be so disappointed if you guys stop at 199. I just got to tell you, I don't want to put pressure on you, but
we did meet about a month ago. We had a big team meeting. It was an all-day event, and we got out our big sticky note, and everybody committed to how many transactions they wanted and how much volume. So we have a team goal for transactions and volume.
Okay.
Well, congratulations. You both are a joy, and thank you so much for joining us today on Own It. We very much had a blast.
Thank you. Thank you for having
too.
us.
Well, we will see everybody on another episode of Own It. On behalf of Spencer and myself, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.